It's top of the hour, and it's time for Making a Difference. Hello, I'm your host, CJ Metcalfe, and I like to bring shows to you that are community related and involve the community, people of the community, and as interesting as I can make them. I would like to also say that today's show is sponsored by the Gulf Theater at the Military Heritage Museum. Make sure that you go to their website and check out the lineup of shows. They are selling out fast, and that is just such a wonderful venue to have these shows. So, with all due being said, got to give credit to Miss Donna Whalen. I'm wearing one of her hats out of her hat collection again. Thank you, Donna, for sharing that with me. On today's show, we're going to just go over some history and some heritage with the Vintage Motor Car Club of America. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of them before. They're short named the VMCCA, but they started back in 1903 with people getting their proud cars together to go on a little tour through town. Well, the people started moaning and groaning about all that rackety machinery noise that they weren't used to hearing. And the tour director had sprinkled confetti in the road so that the cars would know what route to take. Well, the townspeople who didn't like this, they wised up real quick and they went out and changed the direction of the confetti so that the cars went over police. They got lost. It's quite something else. And so people realized, the car people realized at that time that they needed to get organized and have more respect with what they were doing. So they did this in about 1938 in Boston, Massachusetts. They got organized and became a valid function. And to this day, they have over 4,000 members. But in 1949, the VMCCA acquired a car collection of the Lars Anderson estate, and that was located in Massachusetts. And so the people organized themselves as the VMCCA, and they were able to use the coach house as their meeting place. And the club grew and grew and grew and grew as more people wanted to show their pride and joy and investment of their car. So, it has evolved greatly. In 1968 was the first transcontinental tour, and that's across the United States. They started in New York and they ended up in San Francisco. And that tour was limited to cars of 1913 and earlier. So now this is 1968. It might have been a good job to be a tow truck driver, fully equipped, following behind that group. But anyway, in 1982, they started the annual Chrome Glidden tour for cars of the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And nowadays, you can become a member. You don't have to own a car, but if you have an oldie but goodie and would like to show it off for other people to look at it, admire it, respect those wonderful years, especially the 60s when we had such good cars back then. So my guest today is Lee Royston. She is the president of the Southwest Florida chapter of the Veteran Motor Car Club. And she's going to talk to us about some of the things that they do, membership requirements, how you can get in touch with her. Because my car, before I traded it for my one that I have now, it would have fit in that 25-year and older category. But hey, it ran. The old cars just keep running. So, Lee, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Nice seeing you again.
We've got, you guys meet here in Punta Gorda, don't you?
Yes, we meet at which is now the Shore Point medical center in Punta Gorda in the medical office building and their fourth floor conference room.
Okay.
We meet the first Tuesday of every month. Right now, we're sort of on hold with the new hospital name and new administration. We're still waiting for the okay to use the room. We've met at that hospital for over 20 years. My husband Donald started with many years ago, and all of a sudden I can't think of his name. We met in the aerobics room. Hurricane Charlie came along, so they let us meet in the cafeteria. Now with the new medical office building, they've allowed us to use the conference room on the fourth floor.
So you meet at Shore Point, Bayfront, Punta Gorda, whatever, in the
Okay.
medical building there.
Right. It's now Shore Point, Punta Gorda.
Okay, and it's on what floor?
It's on the fourth floor. It's in the conference room. There is an elevator, so there's no problem getting up there.
And what days of the week?
There is always the first Tuesday of every month.
First
We
Tuesday
do
of
not
every
meet in July and August. That's our vacation time.
And what time do the meetings start?
The meetings start at 7 and run till whenever.
Okay.
With me, we tend to take care of business, have a few refreshments, socialize a little bit, and go home. When my husband was president, there was a lot of talking going on. So sometimes it went to 9:30.
That happens. That happens. Okay, so at these meetings, let's go through a typical meeting. What goes on there?
Well, I prepare an agenda. We do a salute to the flag. When we're in voice, we sing the national anthem. We also have a prayer. From the beginning in 1999, the meetings always started with a prayer. So I've just continued that on.
Never hurts.
No,
Never
it
hurts.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to be in good grace with the guy up there.
What are
But anyway, we discuss events that are coming up. Anyone has any good and welfare for the club, we will celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. And that's it.
what about how many events in a year does your club participate in? And that can cover, the whole range of
Okay.
events.
We in 2013, we did 157 events in 1 year.
Wow.
But of course, as the years have gone on, it's dwindled down. We do on the average of anywhere from 2 to 3, sometimes 4 events a month.
Wow.
Depending on if there's a business that perhaps wants us to help promote a grand opening or something, we'll bring a few cars and park out front and hopefully draw some people into their business. But we try to do at least 3 to 4 a month.
Okay, and so when you're doing these events, like for a business promotion, is this a social time for the car members to come and bring their cars and talk to the public as they go by, and they get to talk to themselves, have a little social hour while they're waiting? How
It's not so much a social hour, but it is social because people will come up and say, "Oh, what a beautiful car," and they'll ask a whole lot of questions about it. And guys love to talk about their cars.
Imagine that. Yeah, they're the ones that know the most about it.
Right.
How long do you normally stay at each one of these events?
Anywhere from 3 to 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah. And do you do any gym? I used to call them road courses, where you guys get together and you have to follow instructions to go from point A to point B to get to the end.
No, we've never tried anything like that. We've done some tours to go to places of interest, but nothing like that.
Like wineries and...
Yeah, our last one was out at that castle out there outside of Arcadia.
Oh, okay.
We went there, went through the castle. We had lunch in their little restaurant, and they enjoyed having us, and we enjoyed being there.
What fun. So it's kind of a two-way street.
Right.
Do you do like shows where they take the cars and they join up with other car clubs and you're showing your car and you get trophies or recognition for doing
Okay.
so?
Most of our shows are just are open, which means other clubs can come and join in with us. Individual owners can bring their cars or their trucks or their motorcycles. Um, we try to include all of them, although the motorcycles tend not to come.
Anything on wheels.
Right.
What are you
Whether
doing?
it's 2 or 4, it doesn't matter.
I was going to say, what are you doing with these spiders? You got any spiders in there?
No,
You know, those
I can't
three-wheeled
seem to get them interested. They seem to have their own little clubs.
Probably.
But anyway,
Yeah, probably.
no, we do on some of the bigger shows. We just had the Salvation Army Fund Replenishment Car Show at the former Muscle Car City parking lot. The new owner of the restaurant, the Stingray's Bar and Grill, was our sponsor. So we had trophies. We give the captain of the Salvation Army chooses a car. He presents a trophy. Unfortunately, the Salvation Army wasn't able to be with us this time because they had COVID-19. So they were asked to stay home. But we carried on for them, and we had a good showing and a good day, even though it was a little windy. But it was good. And the guys all get together. They talk with each other. They go into the restaurant, have breakfast. At the end of the show, some will go in and have lunch or whatever. So it's a good social thing and a lot of camaraderie.
When you are having the cars judged, are they judged in classes like by year, anything, or is it they all just thrown into one batch?
No, the AACA tends to
Explain AACA.
American Automobile Club of America. Their headquarters is in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Chocolate.
They and the Vintage Motor Car Club partner together on the Glidden tours. But anyway, they tend to pick apart your upholstery, your paint, your wheel covers, your engine, whatever. We just do judge's choice. The judge goes around and he picks out cars that he likes, that he thinks are nice cars, and then they are presented a trophy.
What in this car club, the Southwest Florida chapter of the VMCCA, what is your oldest car and what is your newest car that you have in amongst your members?
Well, our newest car, I think, is a 2006 Corvette.
Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not 25 years old.
I know, but we sort of,
a little leeway.
We relax a little bit on that. If you have an interest in old cars and you really want to promote our mission, which is to preserve and display and enjoy the hobby, you're always welcome to come. You don't even have to have a car to be a member.
Just take our bodies count.
Yes.
It's
yes.
25 years or older.
No. I'd love to get some younger people in there because our members are getting up there in age.
Does it count if you come in on a scooter?
No, you come in on a scooter if you want to.
There you go.
There's your wheels. You can join. Scooters are always welcome.
So like the social events with the club, do you guys ever have like, potluck dinners or meet places for dinner, or, how socially involved are you amongst each members?
Amongst the club, our biggest social event used to be our Christmas parties.
Ooh, always is.
Most of them were held at St. Andrews Golf and Country Club. It was a nice small place. Some were held out at the Isles Yacht Club, but their rules tend to get really strict. You had to guarantee 100 people. I couldn't always guarantee 100 people. But anyway, that was the biggest event that we had. As far as potluck dinners and parties and things like that, we don't hold too many.
We could change that, like going to the parks and things like that. And
well, we used to do a picnic. Our last picnic was held out at the Peace River Wildlife, out at the Ponce de Leon Point out there, and it was beautiful out there. It was just so nice. We shared our fried chicken lunch and watermelon and salads and all kinds of stuff with the people in the museum, the wildlife center, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you got to have food at these events. That really attracts people, is when you have food.
That's what it is. You know, if you got food and beverage, they'll come out.
It's a winner.
And there are a couple of people who'll say, well, if you're not going to have any food, I'm not showing up. So well, you see, food's important.
They get hungry, So did you answer the question of what is the oldest and what is the newest?
I'm not sure what the oldest is anymore, only because a lot of our 20s and 30s cars are gone. The people that own them, they have either died, they've left the club, or they've sold their cars. They're getting at the age where it's difficult to maintain these automobiles.
And expensive.
It can be.
Some
parts. Of them can be a money pit, believe me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and do you guys have like a couple of people here locally that if, someone's got a car that they want to get it functioning, running, that they'll work on it?
I try to keep up with who's got what. And I will invite them or ask them to come to something. I'm going to say the oldest car we have is a 29 Packard.
Ooh. I've ridden in one of those.
It just happened to bump into my head. Unfortunately, the man that owns it doesn't drive it. He's got a Corvette that he wants to drive.
Well, and Lee, I think you can probably appreciate this, that the generations that are coming up behind us, they just, for the most part, they don't have the admiration and respect for the old cars like what used to be. They're, the Corvettes do very well. A lot of people want the Corvettes and the fast, speedy cars and things like that. But, this is part of our history and it's our heritage. And my goodness, if anybody's listening and you have a relative that has, let's say, an old car, no matter what the shape, I'm sure joining this organization, you could get people that could help guide you to a place where you could get it in running, working condition. Bring these things to life. Don't let them die. For those of you on the radio, I'm going to step off with my producer for a minute. Producer, would you please bring up some pictures for the video people of some of the cars and the things that they do? Now, this is the Chrome Glidden tour. This is the tour that started later on with the cars of the 30s, 40s, and 50s. So it's a kickoff from the original Glidden tour back in 1903. But you can see some of these wonderful automobiles on the video. I encourage all of you to, if you're on the radio, to maybe click on Making a Difference in Facebook and go to my show and go back and look at some of this. You can also find us on YouTube, and it's on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram, and I get lost with all that. But some beautiful scenery here. Oh my, I really like that one.
That was nice.
Yeah. So there's just not much you can say when you're sitting here looking at pictures of what a variety of cars and people having fun. But it's just not limited to the big, beautiful, fancy ones. Oh, there's an old police car. I noticed that your newsletter is called the Bulb Horn.
Okay, that's the national magazine. That comes out every other month. Our newsletter comes out every month, and that's called the T Touche News.
Oh boy, that ought to be a good one. The T Touche.
T Touche News. That's the Model T, and then of course the Shays are replicas of the T's and the A's. So that's how it was combined. T Touche, SHAY News.
Do you have very many rods? Yeah, that's what I call them. I call them street rods, where they've modified them and cut them off and, made them look like little roadsters.
Right. Okay. Our national organization does not allow for modified cars. There is a certain modification that we can do for safety reasons, but all members' cars have to be stock.
Ooh.
I mean, if you have a stock car and you own a street rod, that's fine. But as far as being a member with a street rod, we don't encourage it.
I did not know that.
Our national organization requires us to have all stock automobiles.
And that would fall in line with the heritage and the history that your organization tries to put out there.
The problem is with the street rods and the rat rods and all those rods that they call, they've taken an older car, say they've taken
and destroyed it,
and they've cut the hood open and they've stuck the engine up through it, or they've got wide tires and they've got flames on. Now those are the kind of cars my grandson likes. He's 17. And I said, Jacob, I said, you're never going to know what these cars originally look like to what they look like today. Well, that's a shame because
it really is.
I love those old cars.
If any of you are interested in pursuing the Vintage Motor Car Club of America, you can reach out to Lee Royston. We put her phone number on there, and it'll also show up on the Facebook page, her information. Or you can go to the VMCC website and look under local chapters, and you can contact her through email. Thank you for being on the show, Lee. We appreciate it, and we will see you all next week.
Okay.